the day I took office, one of the commitments that I made to the American people was that we would do a better job here in Washington in rooting out wasteful spending.
800 recommendations, eliminating 12% of the federal workforce, merging some government agencies like the FBI, the DEA, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, closing hundreds of government offices outside Washington.
This is what the Democrats wanted to do at one point.
I've read it, and where it says the president should, the president will.
Among the
What the hell happened?
This report tells us how to cut waste, cut red tape, streamline the bureaucracy.
What? Eliminating 12% of the federal workforce, merging agencies like the FBI and the DEA, closing hundreds of offices. This is what the Democrats wanted to do at one point. What the hell happened? Why is it such a problem now? Oh, I think it's because it's Donald Trump and Elon Musk that are doing it. Oh. So, since it's because you guys can't take credit for it, and it's probably because you guys are committing fraud, maybe wasting some money behind the scenes, maybe that's what the problem is. So you guys throw tantrums and act like children constantly. And while you're doing that, you're making the entire country's lives miserable because you don't know what you're doing. You're not the same Democratic Party that there was a long time ago. Now it's just a bunch of crazy people that have no idea what they're doing. The only thing they really know how to do well is hate Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has driven them crazy. He just keeps winning and winning, and they hate it to the extent that they can't even think straight or accomplish anything else. All they can do is put their focus and energy on this one person and making sure that everyone knows how much they hate him. That's the only thing that party is good for. That's it. And now Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing what they should have been doing this entire time. And they're going in and cleaning up everyone's mess. And for some reason, they're the bad guys.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to speak frankly at first to the American people. We're nearing $37 trillion in national debt. What does that mean? That means that each and every U.S. taxpayer owes over $323,000.
Think about that. Each person owes over $327,000. Most people can't afford that. And it's because there's parties like this crazy Democratic Party that think it's a good idea to spend millions of dollars on transgender operas, transgender comic books, and DEI programs in other countries. And because two people want to get rid of it and maybe put that money elsewhere where it's a little more beneficial, they're these evil people for some reason.
Okay, what does that mean? That means when the EPIC, which is the Economic Policy Innovation Center, says we have 18 trillion left. That's it. 18 trillion left to take out, and we're spending $2 trillion in debt every year. Folks, we're at the precipice of a debt we're like a debt cycle. We are literally at a point in which the dollar will be worth nothing. What does that mean? And I mean, we know Social Security goes bankrupt in 8 years, right? Medicare goes bankrupt in 10 years. And then 15 years from now, the dollar is completely devalued and worth nothing. So what does
Social Security goes bankrupt in 8 years. Medicare goes bankrupt in 10 years. And in 15 years, the dollar's worth nothing. So what does that mean? That means if you ever want to retire and live comfortably, have some kind of insurance, and if you don't want inflation to keep going up, then something's got to change. Because once the dollar loses its value, then you need more of them to get the same thing multiplied by who knows how much. And if you don't have that multiplied amount when you go to retire with no Social Security and no Medicare, that means you'll be working the rest of your life. And the next generation, which would be your kids, will have it even worse. And yet, your main concern is whether a transgender person is recognized as a woman. Get your priorities in check.
that mean? That means your pension, the money in your bank, your savings is nothing. It's worthless. So what are we doing? We're trying to save this country. We're trying to save your pensions. We're trying to save your bank accounts. We're trying to save this country for the next generation, and it would be nice if we had help. But instead, we have people that are fighting us on this. And I think that I would hate to be in the Democratic Party right now because you're in a really bad bind. You're having to defend all of this crazy spending, all of this crazy waste. So how do you do it? You do ad hominem attacks. You attack the messenger. Oh, Elon Musk, right? He's rich. He must be evil, right? That's the attacks. Really? You can't do any better than that, right? Let's talk on the policy. Help us. We're trying to save this country. This is and Elon Musk, who's making no money doing this, is trying to save this country. Why? Because he has invested in the United States of America more than anybody, right? So I think that we should embrace it. In fact, not a single company, governor of any state would ever turn down Elon Musk and his team of Doge from coming in and providing free services to right the course and financially in any state or organization.
I mean, there's so much substance to what he just said. This guy has done nothing but try to help, and he's not making money from this. He just wants to make sure that everything gets cleaned up and that his kids have a comfortable future. And yet he's this villain now because he's associated with Donald Trump. That is so childish. Like, they wonder why nobody voted for them. Like, wake up.
It's ridiculous that we would demonize someone that loves this country so much. Mr. Whitman, the formation of agencies via the executive action is not new, right? The formation of Doge is not new. Can are you familiar with any other previous presidencies where they've formed organizations like Doge via executive action?
Yeah, so actually the agency that Doge is occupying is one that was created in a previous administration, so it is something that happens routinely. But I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, there's been the Office of Budget Management was created, Environmental Protection Agency was created, the U.S. Digital Service, which is now Doge, was created all by executive order, right?
And actually one other I'd add is USAID was originally created through an executive order by President Kennedy and then later formalized.
And then, Madam Chair, I have a video I would like to end with that just let's review if we could cue that to remind, and I want to remind my Democratic friends at a point in which you once had the majority of the American people on your side. This is what your party believed in.
This video carries so much weight to what I've been saying. It's not the same Democratic Party that it was a long time ago. It's just a bunch of crazy people now. They used to campaign on the exact thing that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing. They just lost their minds and lost focus. And all they can focus on is Trump now. They literally used to campaign on the exact thing that they're complaining about.
This report tells us how to cut waste, cut red tape, streamline the bureaucracy, change procurement rules, change the personnel rules, and create a government that works better and costs less.
I've read it, and where it says the president should, the president will.
Among the 800 recommendations, eliminating 12% of the federal workforce, merging some government agencies like the FBI, the DEA, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, closing hundreds of government offices outside Washington.
From the day I took office, one of the commitments that I made to the American people was that we would do a better job here in Washington in rooting out wasteful spending. We thought that it was entirely appropriate for our governments and our agencies to try to root out waste, large and small, in a systematic way. It means cutting some programs that I think are worthy, but we may not be able to afford right now. A lot of the action is in Congress and legislative, but in the meantime, we don't need to wait for Congress in order to do something about wasteful spending that's out there. We haven't seen as much action out of Congress as we'd like, and that's why we launched on our own initiative the campaign to cut waste. And we're going to keep on finding every possible way that we can do that, even if Congress is not acting. There you go.
I think it speaks for itself. My time has expired.
That's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, if you found it useful, informative, please make sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. I really want to hear what your guys' thoughts are, so please share them down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.